So we have already seen a brief overview on a manual testing in our previous session. Like what exactly a testing is, what are all the various types of a testing and other things. And from where we are gonna study from the further series of lectures, we are gonna study functional manual testing, right? So functional manual testing we are gonna study moving ahead. So from all those things, this manual testing is of a defined process and with bunch of definitions. We need to know the various definitions and the process and the terminologies whatever we are using as part of a real world. Ultimately, the manual testing is all about this one. Understanding the definitions, what exactly the process that we were following, and the terminologies that we were using as part of a real world, followed by some practical implementation, which is an hands-on experience that we need. Okay, that's all we are going to cover for the next 10 to 15 days as part of these manual sessions. So let's get started with our first concept, which is SDLC, which is a software development life cycle. Okay, software development life cycle, SDLC, a software development life cycle. Before explaining this software development life cycle, I just want to start with a simple example, guys. So let me start with a simple example, then we will come back to what exactly this SDLC is. The example is right now, the time is 8:15 a.m. IST. For me, my time is 8:15 a.m. IST. I got a thought in my mind that to construct a house, to construct a house. This is the thought that I got in my mind. I want to construct my own house. So, is it possible for me to complete my construction within an hour? Is it possible for me to fulfill my dream within an hour? No, it's not at all possible. Within a day, even still, it's not possible. Within a month, not sure. Probably it may take 3 to 6 months of a time to fulfill my dream or fulfill my thought. Whatever the idea that comes in my mind, it will take 3 to 6 months of time. So, why it will take 3 to 6 months of time to construct a house? Why it will take 3 to 6 months of time to construct a house? The first thing is select a land, okay? Purchase it. And then select a civil engineer, okay? Civil engineer. Get a plan, get it approved. Start construction, okay? Start construction. Choose an interior designer, give contract to him, and then house warming. Once the interior work is done, then house warming, and then finally the house shifting. So if you observe all these activities, right? If you observe all these activities, there are different sets of people involved in a different stages. I can call it as a stage. Selecting a land, I can call it as a stage. For the land selection, I might have a different set of people who helps me in, okay, who helps me in selecting a land and then in purchasing a land. And in order to get a right civil engineer, I might have a different set of people who help me in that. In order to get the plan, a different set of people were involved. So here, in order to construct a house, why it is taking 3 to 6 months of time means these are the various stages involved, and there are n number of people involved in that particular construction, due to which it will take a more time. And of course, depending on my requirement, depending on my house size, depending on a number of rooms, and a number of factors will depend in order to get this done within a 3 to 6 months of time. So the ultimate point here is it's not at all possible for us to construct a house within a day or so. The similar way, what is a software development life cycle means? What are all the various stages involved in developing a software application. Okay, so I'm clear what are all the various stages means. I understood that like how we have a different sets of stages for construction of a house. The similar way we do have a different sets of stages involved, but I don't know what exactly a software application here, right? We didn't study anything about a software application. What is a software application now? Okay, a software application. So consider another small example. Okay, the example is consider that we have Rajesh here and he wants to develop a website, an application where anyone can purchase movie tickets from that website. Okay, anyone can purchase a movie tickets from that website, just like bookmyshow.com. Okay, just like a bookmyshow.com, Rajesh wants a website for his own. So he wants to sell movie tickets to various people through his website. Whatever Rajesh is looking for, which is a software application. Okay, whatever Rajesh requirement is there, it's a software application. So what exactly a software application means? Set of a computer programs and minimum data to run those programs. We call it as a software application. Okay, set of a computer programs and some minimum data is required to work on that particular software application. A best example for that software application is whatever the websites we are using right now, almost everything is a software application. In the backend, developers are writing down the code in a various programming languages and it is showing a front end for us. And from that front end, as a user, you need to do some operations on that, then only the application will show up. Consider that you want to place an order on an Amazon.com. You want to order an iPhone 14 Pro Max on an Amazon.com. So after opening the Amazon.com, the action that you need to do is search for iPhone 14. Then from the results, you will select the desired phone and then you will place an order. So it means on that application, as a user, you are performing some actions and the application in turn is giving some other output on that, which we call it as a software application. And this software application is broadly categorized into two types. One is a project and another one is a product. Project and as well as a product. Both are software applications. This project is designed for few set of customers and this product is designed for wider set of audience. Both are software applications itself. Project is a software application and a product is also a software application. The only difference between project and a product is project will be accessed by the limited set of audience and product will be accessed by wider set of audience. What is the best example for this? A project. Assume that you are working for an IBM organization, guys. There is an internal portal to apply your leaves. Okay, there is an internal portal where you can apply leaves. So if a person who is working for IBM, can only apply for the leaves. For suppose we have a Rajesh. Rajesh is working for IBM. So he can use that particular portal and he can only apply leaves in the IBM portal. Consider that Surendra is working for TCS. He can't use an IBM portal in order to apply the leaves. So that particular application, we call it as a project. Then what is a product then? Gmail is a product. Facebook is a product. Twitter is a product. So WhatsApp is a product. So there are no specific restrictions. Even I am working for an IBM or a TCS, I can have a Gmail account. Even I am working for Infosys, I do have my Gmail account. So there are no restrictions basically for this product. A wider range of audience can handle this particular product. That's what a software application is. So ideally, a customer will approach an organization in order to develop a software application. Like the same way, what are all the various stages involved in order to construct a particular house? There are multiple stages involved in order to develop a software application. Consider that Rajesh has approached IBM organization for this particular requirement, which is a Book My Show similar kind of an application. So if Rajesh approached IBM on a 16th November 2023, it's not possible for IBM to deliver his application on a 17th November 2023. There are a series of activities involved in the backend, like how what are all the various stages involved in constructing of a house. The similar way, in order to develop a software application also, there are various stages involved, which we call it as a software development life cycle. The first phase is gathering of requirements, planning, design, development, testing, and at last, delivery and a maintenance. Before explaining further about these individual stages, am I clear for you all till now, or do you have any specific questions for me? If so, kindly unmute yourself and let me know if at all you have any questions on the examples what we studied so far.
Yeah, we're good, Mr. Vimran.
Okay, cool. Done the deal. So can I get a second to write down the steps? I'm gonna share this document with you all, so you no need to write down these steps. Just focus on the stuff whatever I am explaining. At the end of the session, I will give you this document. Only for today, I'm just writing down here in this Word document. Starting from tomorrow, I will create a Google Drive separate sheet, and in which I will update the document there so that you all have an access to that, and you can have an access to the points whatever I am explaining within the session. So don't make any note. Okay, just focus on the stuff whatever we were explaining here. Perfect. Done the deal, guys. So in order to understand more about this particular SDLC phases, let me give you another small example, guys. So the example is, my requirement is I wanna purchase a laptop. I wanna purchase a laptop, for which I went to Reliance Digital. Okay, I approached Reliance Digital, a physical store where they have a number of laptops in which where I can pick my laptop. As and when I approached that particular store, one person from the store will try to interact with me, and he will ask all my needs, and based on that he will bring few laptops for me, right? So ideally, whenever you are approaching any store, basically one person will interact with you. What that person is trying to do, he will reach to you and he will try to understand what exactly the laptop that you are looking for, what exactly the configuration that you are looking for, what is the budget, any specific brands, all these details he will make a note from our end. And based on that, whichever the laptop is fulfilling those needs, he will bring all those laptops for us for our suggestion. Right. That particular person, on a high level, what he is doing, he is gathering our needs. This needs, we can also call it as a requirements. One person from the story is approaching us and he is gathering all our requirements. Based on our requirements, he will do an analysis. Okay, this guy want a laptop under 50,000. How many laptops are there under 50,000? And again, he has kept a further criteria that he is looking for precisely this operating system. So how many laptops are there? So once after you shared all your requirements to that particular marketing guy, what he will do, he will do an analysis. Right. So he will do an analysis, or I can say he will do a planning or a mapping from his end, stating that which are all the laptops satisfying all these needs. He will take some time, few minutes, and then he will bring those laptops for us. So what he is doing in a backend, he is doing a plan. Okay, these are the things that customer is looking for. These are all the laptops that satisfies this particular requirement. So he is doing a planning there, right? And after planning, then he will showcase those laptops for you, and based on your requirement, you can take it or you may not take it. That's a secondary step. But from this, what I have understood is the person is gathering my needs. The similar way here, Rajesh has some set of requirements in his mind how his application should look like basically. So one person from our organization will interact with Rajesh, and we will gather what are all the things Rajesh is looking from us on his application, which we call it as a gathering of a requirement space. And once after the requirements were gathered, we need to prepare a plan. Like, I have 100 developers in my organization. Out of 100 developers, how many are gonna work on this particular project? What technology that we are using? How many testers are gonna work? What is the tentative timeline for this particular project? All those things we will prepare a plan. That falls under a planning phase. Then a design phase. As part of a design, we have two designs basically. One is a low level design, another is a high level design. Okay, so what exactly falls under a low level design? For a particular customer requirement, how the UI looks like, the UI mockup, or we can also call it as a prototype for that particular requirement or mockup for that requirement, UI mockup for that requirement. So let me show you a simple example. So you assume that we have a given a requirement to the customer. Okay, customer has a given a requirement for us. For that requirement, our UI developers will develop this kind of a screen. Okay, this is the requirement. This is how it looks like once after developer develops the code. Is it okay, or you want us to change anything as part of this design? They will change. They will tell some design changes, and we will update those design changes basically. So as part of this design phase, we will prepare a design how exactly this application looks like. And another type of a design here is what exactly the application architecture is. In general, guys, if you observe basically, whenever you are on an Amazon.com and when you search for a particular product, within a fraction of seconds, hundreds or thousands of search results are displaying for you. What is the backend system involved, from where it is retrieving the result, from where it is storing the data, whatever we are entering, where exactly it is pulling the information, how exactly it's placing an order, what kind of a payment gateways that are involved. All these things are falls under the architecture of that particular application. The similar way, in the design phase, we will design the UI prototypes for the requirement, followed by a detailed architecture of that application. And the next phase is a developers whomsoever are tagged to this particular project. Those developers, by looking into the requirement and the UI prototype, they will start writing down their code. And once a developer done with their functionality development, then the tester comes into the picture, and we will test that application and we will deliver that application to the customer. And maintenance phase means certain applications, once after we are done with that particular development and delivery to the customer, certain customers ask us to maintain their applications. So it means for the next 6 months, if at all I am looking for any modifications, just support us. If for the next 1 year, if at all I want some enhancements, do those enhancements, which falls under this maintenance activity. So these are the various sets of activities involved in developing a software application, which we treated as a SDLC phases, or the various stages that we have in an SDLC. This is a high level overview on these stages, guys. We need to study who are all the resources will play a role as part of the gathering, and what exactly the planning will does, design will does, development will does, and testing will does. everything we will study moving ahead as part of the upcoming sessions, guys. So this is just an intro part of SDLC. If you observe, as part of the today's session, we studied about a brief overview on a SDLC, what exactly a software application is, and project and a product with few set of examples that we have studied here for today, guys. Okay, perfect. Done the deal. That's all I have for today. We'll continue the topic in the next session. Kindly let me know if at all you have any questions so that we can discuss them. Else, we can take a pause here for today.
Surendra, yeah, what's the difference between low level and high level design?
See, basically, as part of the low level design, you are gonna prepare the mockups. As part of the high level design, the architecture of that application would be prepared. Okay, so I have shown you some example on an Amazon.com, right? What are all the various
Yeah, yeah.
databases and all those things, right? That falls under the high level design. Okay,
Okay.
good. Done the deal, guys. That's all I have for today. Let's catch up again tomorrow. Thank you.